morning and welcome to Trinity Update. Today we're talking about Teams of Our Lady. And the Teams of Our Lady, many of us have been around for quite a while in Trinidad and Tobago. And we have a retreat coming up and we have two very special guests who are here to conduct the retreat with us all the way from London. And we want to welcome, and I want to get this right the first time, Piotr and Gija Hochkor-Sikor. Is that correct?
Very good.
Pretty
good.
Okay,
Yes.
Thank you. So I'm going to call you Piotr and Gija this time, and we want to welcome Gija. Welcome to the program. Welcome to Trinidad.
Thank
I know
you
it's
very
your
much.
first time in the Caribbean.
Absolutely.
And I hope you really, really have a super time, both of you,
Thank
in
you.
Trinidad. So you're here to do Teams of Our Lady retreat. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background.
Okay,
How did you
well,
get involved? Well, first of all, maybe we should start with what is Teams of Our Ladies for those of our audience who don't know too much.
Okay, well, Teams of Our Lady is a movement for Christian married couples to help couples deepen their marriage spirituality. So a team consists typically of 5 to 6 couples who meet once a month in each other's homes over a simple meal. And then they pray together, they have a reading, they meditate together. And then in the month in between the meetings, they have a series of what we call endeavours, kind of rules that they're meant to work on through the months, which is couple prayer, prayer on your own, reading the Word of God, rule of life, which is something that you feel you need to work on, which you can either share with your partner or you can keep it personal. And it can be for a month, it can be for a year, however long it takes you. You can repeat it if it is a tricky one. A sit down, which is one of the essences of teams, which is where you sit down together with your spouse once a month, over it with a prayer, light a candle, and maybe have a really open, frank discussion about where you're going as a couple, about your spirituality, and about any difficulties you may have had. And then the last endeavour is a retreat. Once a year, you have a retreat either as a couple or as your whole team.
And you all have been involved with this for?
Well, we've been involved 25 years of our 29 years of marriage.
Wow, so you started as much younger people.
Yeah, we started slightly younger. When we got married, we'd had a Polish Catholic formation, and the Polish parish really had something right up to university. They had discussion groups for university students, but for young married people, there was really nothing. So we started looking. We looked at a few Bible teaching groups. They didn't really appeal to us, and someone recommended Teams of Our Lady, Keep Notre Dame, as it was called then. And so we went to one meeting, and it kind of stuck, and it works for us. And 25 years on, we're still a very ordinary couple, trying to get a marriage full of spirituality and working closer towards moving on the road to God. And we were chosen for this, looking after a position of administration really for the last 5
you all are,
years.
and I omitted to say, they're the super regional couple for the transatlantic super region, which includes Trinidad. And as Piotr so simply said, he says it only means that all the English-speaking countries except Australia and America. And that's
So it's a 5-year role.
okay.
And basically it's to help it's to provide a unity to the movement. So the movement started in France in 1939, and it's grown from there. And there's an international leading team, which is also ordinary couples who will have that role for 6 years, and then they go back to their original teams. And at every level in teams, if there is a team working together in a very similar way to try and make sure the movement maintains what we call its charism, its direction, and to make sure that despite the fact that we're from a number of different countries who have different pressures, different ideas, different challenges, that we all move in the same way.
Tell me, and this is a bit of a personal question, Piotr and Gija, what would you say has been the most beneficial aspect of you being a part of this? What is?
Well, for me, I think the most beneficial, for example, of all the endeavours is the sit-down. Young married couples, or any married couples, in the modern world, sometimes they really do not have time to talk. They may think they talk, but they only talk at a very high level. This endeavour teaches you to even put it in your diary that on this evening you'll have your sit-down of the month. And you'll say a prayer, maybe light a candle, You can even pour a glass of wine, and then you will discuss everything that happened in the last month, good, bad, how you think your relationship is going, how you think your prayer life is going, and make plans for the next month. So just that one discussion, open discussion, frank discussion about all our problems and all our joys every month has kept us together.
And I think the major benefit of the sit down is that because it's planned, or you can actually you can have them impromptu but it gives you the opportunity to you don't build things up.
Yes.
And because you invite the presence of God into it. However, it can be by lighting a candle, it can be by starting with a prayer. You can start with a reading that's meant something to you personally a lot that month. You take a slight step back, so it's not a finger pointing, well, you've done this, you haven't done this.
The rituals and having it done regularly. And also I like what you said just now, that because it's done so regularly, hurts and so don't have a chance to build up.
Yes.
And especially, we've been married now 29 years. Things change. Your likes, your preferences, everything in your body changes.
Your ways of dealing with things.
Yeah.
And sometimes your spouse hasn't caught up with that.
Yes.
So they still think something, for example, you might have liked when you were in your 30s, you might not like when you're in your 50s.
Yes.
And everybody's tastes change. And so the sit-down gives you an opportunity to just openly discuss how your lives are going together.
And it's not a fault-finding exercise. No. It's a calm discussion because it's meant to be so open, and it's an opportunity to listen, to really listen to what the other person's saying.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be, although some of the things might hurt you, it's not there to hurt you. So it's not like an angry slanging match. It's a calm, reflective opportunity.
And I suppose the regularity of it is what builds the trust every time we sit again.
Yeah.
And the other thing that's regular is the team meeting every month. So we have been in the same team for all these years.
Wow.
We've had the same chaplain for the last 11 years. And so you meet every month and you share and you read the Bible together and you have a study topic. And that is like a second family because you meet the same people, you open up to them with your problems, they give you advice, you pray together. And one of the things I find great about that team meeting is you have periods of prayer and silence. Yeah. And there's so little silence in our world. So you might be sharing on a passage from the Bible, and you have sort of guided periods of silence when you just think, and it's just so lovely when you can do that. Yes. And again, regularly once a month. Yeah.
So it's like a quiet spot in your relationship where you just come down and you share with each other, and in today's world it's so needed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Especially I see with our young couples, they're falling apart. It's so sad. It's so sad that they're just falling apart all over, and because of technology, because of the challenges of the job, the children. You just step outside onto the main road there, and it's craziness. It's
wonderful to have that time to stop, because I think we're all rushing through. We have our emails, we have our phones, we constantly something's beeping at you and trying to get your attention, and this is the time where you actually have that hour, 2 hours where you just stop, you shut all that out, and in the environment of these other couples who are all striving for the same thing, to deepen their marriage spirituality, to grow closer together as a couple, to move closer to God together, you all work together as the team as well. And also there's a rule that whatever is said in the team stays within that team. So that confidentiality builds huge trust. And that's also very, very important.
I'd say the theme of this year's retreat is Themes of Our Lady Response to Pope Francis.
Yeah.
You want to talk a little bit about that?
Well, Pope Francis gave the movement a private audience in September, and he gave us an address there that was very, very nice, but he also said to us, you married couples who have a stable relationship and pray together and meet every month, it's great. But what are you doing for those who aren't so lucky? And as married couples, you should understand how lucky you are that you are not in a situation where perhaps someone has abandoned you or you've got crises. So his question to us was, what are you doing about these other couples? Mm-hmm. And then if you read the apostolic exhortation that he came out with, Amore Letizia, he says exactly the same to all married couples.
Yes.
You know, we have to look with mercy and discernment at couples who aren't so fortunate as us. And so the team's movement globally and at our retreat on Sunday is going to look at how does teams as an organisation react to that request to not just be happy and content that you are part of teams, but what are you going to do with people who are not and come to us for help?
I think what he also emphasised was the fact that marriage is a gift.
Yeah.
It's a gift. You get the sacrament, you get a gift from God. And it's also learning to use that gift to help
It's a gift
other
for the
people
world
as well. Yes, yes. So we can't just sit back and be happy. We've received this gift. We have an obligation to share it and to show by our example how people can achieve happiness.
So does, cheeky question, does team has a game? Do you have a game plan for going with these couples?
Well, we have lots of game plans. The problem is we are the largest Catholic lay movement in the world. We're in 82 countries.
Wow.
And in each of those countries, the game plan will be slightly different.
Yeah.
Some countries think teams should be heavily involved, for example, in pre-marriage preparation. And they might be going down that road. So what we want to do is just be open, and in every country, in every region, think about the best ways to do this. In countries where there is still a very strong Catholic faith, for example, in Portugal or in Italy, the solution might be very different to one, for example, in our country, in England, where it's a very mixed batch of people living in that country, many
Very much like
faiths,
Trinidad, isn't
many
it?
faiths
Yeah.
and none.
But I think you'd find teams people tend to be people who are quite active people.
Yeah.
So teams people tend to be involved in their parish already.
Well, judging from the couple who are hosting you, I
Yes.
can tell you for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
So in pre-marriage, post-marriage, in fundraising for Catholic things as well. But apart from that, so within those organisations which aren't part of teams, they can raise the profile of teams. But also teams are putting into place what they call tandem teams, which are teams for people who are not yet married, who maybe are living together, but who do want to journey together with God. So, because teams...
And I think that's a very important group
Yeah.
that you
Yeah.
just hit on there, you know, because I always remember our late Archbishop Anthony Panton. He spoke at one of our marriage encounter conventions, and that was his exact message to us as a Caribbean people, as Trinidadians. You know, he said, let's not forget that these are also families.
Yeah,
also.
absolutely.
They are
Yeah.
also families, and they also need to find God in their relationship, and their spirituality has to be one that takes them, that leads them to fullness as well.
So the international organisation works on various plans on how to meet the needs and new challenges in our world. And as Piotr said, each region, each zone has to change them according to their particular needs. However, the teams have got these tandem teams, so there would be a whole programme of work for those people who work alongside the core teams. Again, meeting once a month, but maybe with slightly different topics to talk about.
So persons coming to this retreat and the retreat is going to be on
Sunday.
I have it here on Sunday, which is this upcoming Sunday here, and it's 11th of August. 14th of August. Okay, and what can couples expect? Do you have to be a member of Teams of Our Lady to attend this retreat? No.
No, it's... Do you want to?
Yeah, I mean, it's a retreat for couples within teams, but it's open to all couples who might be interested in what we do. I think the church would never say, we're organising something to which only some particular people
and
are
that's
welcome.
what makes the Catholic Church so beautiful.
And it's wonderful. And the mishmash of couples we have, for example, in England, where you might have a Christian, maybe not a Catholic, a Christian maybe with a Hindu, or we have couples where they are of all the different religions mixed together. We welcome everybody, as long as they are happy to listen to us and hear what we say. And if they follow our values, then we're not going to say, you can only come if you're two practicing Catholics. Well, we want to share the good news of marriage spirituality to everybody. And even if you're not married yet, you're still welcome to come along. And we will still talk to you and try and share with you the joys that we have of the sacrament of marriage. So everybody's welcome.
But on Sunday it will be a series of talks, and then there will be an opportunity, I think, for couples to have a sit down with some guidance as to some ideas.
So the couples who turn up would actually be able to experience what
hopefully
Teams of Our Lady, what a meeting is about.
And also realise what a group of like-minded people, of friends that people become. Because, I mean, we've just arrived. We arrived here on Monday. We've met numerous people who we've never met in our lives, and we feel so welcome. And I know that's partly the Trinidadians, but I think it's also, you know, we went to an international meeting 2 weeks ago, and there are people you don't even have much of a common language, you know, to share, and yet there's that common bond immediately.
Yeah, you know, we have an ad that we use at Trinidad. One of our insurance companies use it, and the slogan is, people are people.
Yes.
And then we also say, you know what I mean.
Yes.
And it's so true.
It is true.
People are
Absolutely.
people. And you connect so easily with that. I have here with me this picture which you want to tell us, this is the icon, is it?
So that's the international symbol of Teams, the icon. We also have a symbol of a fish, which you can see on the leaflet there. The icon was chosen because it's the icon of the Holy Family, because Teams is all about marriage and the family, and deepening the marriage, deepening the family bonds, raising happy families, happy children, and so on. The actual logo with the fish has a fish for the symbol of Christianity with 2 crossed wedding rings to show the link of marriage spirituality.
Yeah. And it's beautiful, you know. And also the family, you know, as you're talking about the family, so often I think married couples need to recognize how much their relationship affects their children.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes we think about the couple, yes, fine, but you know, it affects the children, and so much even later on in life. So many adults you meet down the road, and they talk about their parents' relationship and how it affected their lives, and how much it has affected their lives.
Well, that's why I think Teams is so important, and also Teams have set up something called Young Teams of Our Lady, which is for young people from the age of 17, 18, who are not necessarily in couple relationships yet, who just want to deepen their faith. So they have the opportunity to meet and to have various discussions related to their faith and to their needs. And that can also help them, and maybe then eventually if they do form a relationship, they might consider Teams later on.
So do these groups, do they also talk about how you manage relationships as young people?
I think with young teams they would, yes.
Because I think that's a big problem here in our area, you know, here in our neck of the woods. It's very, very difficult. A lot of young people, they don't know how to manage relationships. And they get married, and they're very career-oriented, you know, my career, and they even compete with each other as a couple. You know, there's big competition between each other. There's a lot of women who now, of course, and I guess it's all over the world happening. We have a lot of female professionals.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the big problems we see in couples, especially in the middle-class couples in Trinidad. The women are working and they're really climbing the ladder and leaving the men behind, and then they have all kinds of
and that's when you start getting communication issues, when you have busy lives, separate lives, and you don't realise that the separate lives are becoming very separate. And you're not talking, and you're not sharing your issues and your problems, and you might not be sharing them because you don't want to be seen as failing,
or simply because you don't make the time. Because it's very easy to get up in the morning, rush to work, rush home, do all your chores at home, and then by the time you've got some time on your own, you're so tired you just want to go to sleep.
You just want to spend the time on your own.
And you also want some time out space.
So you end up saying "Good morning, I love you" by WhatsApp on the way to work because you haven't had time.
And you know what you're saying is, I wouldn't say, I was about to say that's exactly what happened to me, but I'm not going to say it on set. But you know, but it's so true. It's so true. A lot of times you find, and I've been married for quite some years myself. You know, I've been married and a lot of times it's finally when you get into your car and you're like, okay, and you remember, oh my God, I wasn't even nice to him this morning. You know, and you just send a nice little note, or you might just call and say, hi, how are you? Good morning. You know, and it's like.
But it's always the same. You have to work on it. I mean, we've been in Teams for 25 years, and still, you know, if you've had a busy day at work, you look in your calendar, oh, we've got a Teams meeting tonight, and your head drops and you think, oh, I'm so tired, I could do without this. But always afterwards, you're so invigorated by it, and you're so glad you went, and you get so much out of it. But it doesn't change. The fact that we've been in Teams 25 years, we're still busy people, and you look and you think, oh, another meeting.
And you know what as well, Piotr and Gigi, I have found, because we have a little group that meets, and it's not a marriage group, but I have found having young couples come to our meeting is so life-giving to them and to us. You know, it challenges both parties because they see, and sometimes they hear, and we know some of the problems that we may be discussing, and for them they say, you know, it's okay that we are facing it. It's not the end of the world. And then for us as older couples, we say, wow, can we ever regain that?
Yes, that magic. Yes,
that magic, you know. And I think, you know, having younger couples come to the retreat, it really
it's fantastic. And also, when a new team is set up, you have what's called a pilot couple. So you have a couple that's experienced in teams to lead them through a series of meetings. Initially, it's normally 7 or 8 meetings together. And we've piloted 2 teams. And one of the teams, spiritually, they gave us so much. They were a Polish team who had come from Poland, where they go through quite a lot of religious formation in their youth anyway. And we had to teach them the mechanics of teams, but spiritually, they were way, you know, above us. They taught us so much. They were so open, able to just open their hearts out, which was really, really, you know, uplifting.
You know, we're I can't believe it. As you said before, you just meet someone and you can talk forever, but we're just 3 minutes away from closing time. Is there anything that we should know before we close the program? Because I would like to give some details as well. If you would give some details of this retreat. It's going to be on Sunday. Which is the 14th.
It is.
Yeah, the 14th, and it's going to be at, I suspect it's MES Centre.
It is. Yes. We don't know where that is, but hopefully we'll find it.
It's going to be it's a beautiful, beautiful retreat centre. Very simple, beautiful. And the cost per couple is $150. We have babysitting for the children.
Yeah, children free. That includes lunch as well.
Free, and the lunch is also free for the children. Oh, that's beautiful. And it's from 9:30 to 3:30 p.m. the retreat, and it ends with Sunday Mass. Which is really lovely, so that you know you don't have to hustle to Mass and then hustle
you can bring
across.
the whole family and just relax there.
And even if you don't go to Mass, you can still come. It's not only for Catholics; it's for everyone.
Absolutely,
it's for everyone, whoever, you know, just couples, people who want to experience what it is like to be the team.
One of the themes there is also we're going to be talking about intimacy, and how important that is in married life, and how as young couples, you know, you have to be constantly aware of intimacy between yourselves and how that changes as you get older. And if you ignore that, then that can lead to some of the tensions and the frictions. So that's one of the
keep the magic of marriage alive.
How to keep well, maybe I will be there on Sunday as well.
I hope so.
It's really lovely. Well, thank you so very much. Thank you so much. And you know, you're going to be here in Trinidad for 2 weeks. So what some of the things you have to do besides trying to do so much fantastic work with our couples in Trinidad, you have to go to Maracas and have a shark and bake and a Caribbean.
Okay.
And you have to go to Tobago and have a crab and dumpling from Aunt Esme on the beach.
Okay.
Sit right there and have it. Your crab and dumpling will never be the same again, you know. So you have to do all these things before and really...
And do some liming, apparently.
And do some liming. Well, I'm sure...
But we have already, I think.
You're going to do some real liming in Trinidad and really have a nice, safe and enjoyable stay here. And to all of you out there, remember, tell the young couples as well, the biannual retreat Teams of Our Lady next week, this Sunday the 14th. Everyone, whether you are Catholic, non-Catholic, whatever religion you belong to, whether you're married or not, it's an opportunity to really deepen your relationship. And we have a fantastic couple who's going to be doing the retreat. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much.
And to all of you, thank you so much for viewing.